Yeah, and so again, with these late rounds, right, we're talking 12, 13, 14, 15 in these 15 round drafts of a 12 team league. So that's kind of where we're basing the ADP off of, where we're basing all of these things. And a lot of people take these last three rounds and they auto pick. Right, they're just so tired.
It's true.
They get the players they want, and then they just set it on auto pick, and they kind of let it go. Where you differentiate yourself as a great fantasy football player is you pay attention to every single round, and you're trying to make every single pick count, because at the end of it, you don't want to start cutting people and throwing it away. Now, granted, you're going to make some moves, right? But what you're trying to do is get people that you can count on and that you don't have to worry about cutting. So for me, I'm going to start with Houston. Houston was such a fantastic offense last year, right? You know, Munaf, you gigantic Houston fan over here, and you watch your team do great things, right? And it's because they had guys like Nico Collins, because CJ Stroud played his ass off. Like, so they're adding another wide receiver to the mix, and that is Christian Kirk. His ADP right now in a 12-team league going at 144, kind of the back end of that 12th round, so, or the beginning of the 12th round rather. And for Christian Kirk, it's just he's jumping into a great offense, right? He's jumping into a team that did well last season, and he's joining a wide receiver core that people are going to be focusing on. Nico Collins, right? They're going to be trying to figure out how to shut him down. And that just gives Christian Kirk, who's coming from Jacksonville, obviously, the opportunity to kind of inherit himself a great situation to be in. Christian Kirk, not necessarily the bestest of wide receivers when he was everywhere, but he's solid, right? And if you're looking for a guy on the other end of Nico Collins to sort of get you where you need to go, and especially in a PPR, right? He could stand to catch a few out of the slot. He could end up getting you a few catches here and there. Last season, he was targeted 47 times, caught 27 passes for 379 and only one touchdown. But again, you remember where he was at,
Yeah.
right? Nowhere to write home about it. I think Christian Kirk is one of those guys where you can draft him and not have to worry about cutting him right away. Obviously, if you have to make room for the flashy name and he hasn't produced in a couple weeks, you could think about it. But I think he's going to get some good play in a great situation.
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head that he's going to come into this team and be wide receiver too. I know the Texans drafted two guys out of Iowa State there with Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Might be a little bit of work in progress with those guys. Of course, we know about the Tank Dell injury that happened last season, unfortunately. So they're going to need somebody else to step up. And like you mentioned, with Nico Collins has been absolutely a monster over the past couple seasons here for the Houston Texans, that there's going to be an extra focus on a guy like Nico Collins, which that opens up the opportunities for a guy like Christian Kirk. And look, yes, Christian Kirk maybe over the last couple seasons hasn't performed up to his, I guess, standard or ability, but like Rod mentioned, it's what the situation that he was in last couple seasons with Jacksonville. I mean, he had a career high 8 receiving touchdowns back in the 2022 season, a 1,000-yard season there as well, 982 in this last season with the Arizona Cardinals. So I think there's definitely a possibility that he does get to this number of maybe close to 900 yards and getting 6+ touchdowns here because of who the Texans are. I don't expect this team to be trailing a lot this season, but when you have a quarterback like CJ Stroud, I think the opportunities and the downfield threat of Christian Kirk is going to be there for this Texans team. So I'm with you on that.